Back in the shop again with another install video for you guys. Today we're going to be doing the TRS PowerFlow valve on my boost assault here. This PowerFlow valve here replaces your stock reed valve assembly that's in the backside of the air box on these boost sleds. Essentially, you have a molded cage and then you have a couple big reed pedals on that molded cage in the factory location there. And you can imagine plastic molding. The reed pedals are cut from a sheet which are pretty uniform and pretty much always sealed, but that reed cage, that whole molding process can leave some deformities in there and you don't always get a perfect seal on that. Now, once you get boost pressure in there, it does seal, but until you get that boost pressure, you may be having a little bit of a leak there and bleeding off a little bit of boost. The TRS PowerFlow valve, on the other hand, is all machined out beautifully. You've got a really nice rubber seal in here that keeps this thing sealed all the time, sits in the box this way, so that way if you have any vacuum or you need to get air in quick, this little spring pulls in, or the whole diaphragm rather pulls in. You get 30% more airflow than the reed valve, and then as soon as boost pressure starts, that thing snaps shut, seals right away. So we're gonna be going ahead, pulling this apart, showing you guys how to go ahead and install this thing. It's relatively straightforward, pretty simple. Pull the hood, side panels, console, airbox out, pull your seat off. You gotta slide your gas tank back or remove it entirely. Sliding it back or removing it does require removing the fuel lines, but again, it's all very simple. We're gonna cover that in depth, so let's get into it. So naturally, first things first, go ahead, blast your side panels off. Toss these over here against your other sled or your wall or whatever. Throw them in the woods for all I care. I'm gonna go ahead while I'm right here, blast the seat off. We will, since this, obviously, anyone doing this is gonna be on a boost model, you gotta remove your battery too. We'll go ahead and throw our key up there before we lose that. We'll stay working on the front here. Now, the only thing throughout this process that's gonna be different on my sled here versus most of y'all's boost, most of y'all's is this intake setup right here. I've got my custom little K&N jobby, which is still quite simple. That, lift up here, pull our front out first, that off of that, quarter turn, let go, and then zoop. If you're doing a stock one, you're gonna have this set up down in here instead. You got two push clips, your T-map sensor here, and a little worm gear on the side on the turbo, and then you'll pull this whole assembly right out. But for me, all I have to do, I don't think I even have to remove this, but just to give me a little more clearance for pulling the console off, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna leave the intake tube right on because I don't need to remove that. So next up, we'll remove some of our push clips. And then on the other side, you don't have one down low. You've got your little clutch tool. All right, and then we're gonna have to do the top part here where our little key switch and heated shield cord is located. My pocket is vibrating. I'm getting a call. Too bad. Since I have a heated shield cord connected into my little console key switch piece here, I gotta go ahead and unplug it down in there somewhere. I don't remember where the hell I'm hiding it. So we'll continue on. We got two T40s down low. Most of you will have T40s up here too. Mine fell out a long time ago and those are switched, but then you got two more T40s up top. Where is that heated shield one? All right, let's get in here. Unplug that. So that'll come out of there now. We need a little flathead to get our clip out because that's just easier. All right, let go. Cool. There's our little center console piece. Stick this way over here. At that point, you're close to removing the upper airbox here. We got two 10s on our ECU. Just take a 10 mil, put on our little zippy boy. So here's your two 10s up in here. See if I can drop these down into the belly pan. One, stay. Two, and then just flop that guy over there. So you got all those, you got the two T40s out of the top here, you got your console kind of loosened up, you just kind of have to pry it over past the air inlets on each side, like that. Wiggle it up and forward, you got to do a little, come on, let go. Why are you fighting me? There we go. Pull that bad boy out of there, set it aside. And then basically the console is just about ready to come out. The last thing you have is your fuel tank nut and your recoil assembly holding it in. So for the recoil assembly to hold it out, You can take a pair of vice grips or something. Be careful not to damage your cord, obviously. I take these kind of like rubber hose squeezer clamp pliers. They've got nice curvature to them, so they're not going to damage the cord. And then we just pull the recoil. Uh-oh, our little rubber dangly fell off. Way out. Almost all the way. And then just fish this in here up against the little stopper and pinch the cord. And that'll hold it there. So I'll remove your gas cap. And then I have one of the Indy Specialty fuel tank nut sockets. This thing is incredible. You just set it on, we'll bring you over here. If you don't have one of those tools, highly suggest you get one because you don't have to mess around with channel locks or worry about scratching this up and looking at it looking all shitty like I do. After I did that in the past, before I got this thing, but you just pop it on there, give it a little twist, and then you can thread that plastic nut right off. Now, we're gonna do this and hopefully not knock the camera over. You're ready to pretty much get that off the little post down there, pull your whole console right off, and set it aside somewhere where it's gonna be out of your way. And for me, with our current layout in here, that's gonna be way up here on top of the front, something like that. All right, now we can go ahead and put this back on and work on this mess of battery stuff down in here. So how can I position this bad boy, huh? Hopefully that camera stays there. It's kind of set up a little sketchy, but the battery stuff wouldn't be bad if it weren't for the two nuts way down in there that you need a little universal shallow and an extension to get down in there. It's really not that big of a deal, but if you're a little limited on tools, those ones are gonna be not so fun to get to. Blast these ones off, take your extendo with your wobbly, and then you gotta just pick this up, come on, and give it a big pull job to get down in there. You could probably just jam a straight down in there and be fine, but you're gonna be pulling on this thing pretty good. See, it's really not that bad. I'm just kind of, I don't know, talking out my ass, I guess. Unplug your tender port. This actually works out because I do need to swap this battery, which actually, I'll be right back. I need to check, see if they delivered that this morning. All right, we're back. We got the battery going over there. The acid's dumping in, all that bullshit. So, remove our little tie down jobber. This battery's dead. It's the original, never been on a tender. That's cooked. Take this, put this bad boy over here in the core. Bonk, see you later. All right, and then we gotta pull this big cage out of here. Half of this stuff is all retained in. There, pull that out of there. I'm just gonna pry this one off of the bottom. It's all those little metal pinch alligator type clips. There's that. And of course the starter relay has to come out of there too. You gotta unbolt that or unplug it and take all the cables off. I'll tell you what we're not doing. Okay, lift that up, fish that all back and out. So essentially all your cables come through the middle except for this one relay thing. There, all right, those can stay there. So now you've got two 10s left down here that hold the tank on. These two right here. And these are the ones with the big washer. They have the washer on them, boop, boop. Go. All right, cool. Now for removing your tank or sliding it back, if you want to just pick it up and slide it back, that's totally fine. That's probably what I'm gonna do because this thing is just about full right now. I don't know, maybe we'll heave-ho it up off of there. We'll see in a second, but you got one clip or, oh, Jesus. Frameage there. When it comes to removing your tank, you got return, feed, an electrical connector over here. Connector super simple, push the little tab, pull the thing out, you're done. As far as your feed and return go, not a lot of fuel is gonna come out of here. You're gonna get a little bit, but not enough to where you need to worry about like stuffing rags down in here and stuff like that. Unless you're like way over full, then you might have a little bit more than that. But this should be good. I think we're like 80%, unfortunately, but You basically have to get in here and lift up on the little blue tabs right here. Both of them are exactly the same. So let me get you in here. You have one little tab down here and another one on the other side. And you just kind of get behind them and pull them upward. And I'll just do it again for you. Get like that on both sides and lift that up. I don't know if I can do it with both one hand. Nope. Oh yeah, look at that. Just get in here, pull those up, and you're good to go. Same thing on this side. Lift these up, and you're good. Then once you get the little retainers up, you just go ahead and give them some wiggles, and they will slide right up and off. And that's it. So yeah, you can see we got a little bit out of there, not a lot. I'm gonna grab 2 caps, plug those, because when you go to pick the tank and tip it, then you might get a little bit more coming out of there. If you don't have a big assortment of rubber caps, put a rag over it or 2, I guess. Don't really know what to tell you, what to do there. I think it's these. Oh yeah, there we go. All right. Now you just get in here, one hand at the back of the tank, and heave-ho this thing out of here. Oh my God, I hosed myself. She's all there. Yeah, and you just kind of wiggle it back. Grab one hand underneath there, pick it up, pull it off of here. We are gonna remove it, but we're just setting it right over here. Ugh, ow. Ow. Okay. Now, you've got all the access you need to get into all your T25s here and remove your stock valve. So let's get into pulling that thing out of there, and we'll show you a comparison of the stock one here and the new TRS PowerFlow valve. So from that little B-roll type footage I just showed you guys there, you can see there's quite a bit of air gap on the reed pedals. Now I know that there is an accepted tolerance on these as well. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but you can imagine that you're losing a little bit of boost there by that bleeding by until you get enough pressure in the box to really push down and seal those. So it just kind of is what it is. The top and bottom pedals definitely had way more gap to them than the 2 middle ones. But yeah, it is what it is. That's why we're in here replacing this stuff. For those of us that care about every little bit of performance that we can get, stuff like this ain't gonna work. Onto the TRS valve here. Again, I showed you all that. Real light pressure here on the spring. Should be awesome. I'm excited to get this in. You got a big rubber seal in here that this machine diaphragm sits against, so that seals up awesome. There's no air gaps around that thing anywhere. I don't really even need to show it, but I might as well. We got nothing over here, the light. Put the light up behind it, dude. I ain't getting nothing. We're sealed up with that bad boy. Now that that clips in there, you have your valve, you have your sealing gasket on the back side, and then we have the outer frog skin new vent, or not vent, but the outer frog skin mesh here to go ahead and make sure we get no debris or FM or moisture in through this thing. I think, again, a lot of this stuff that I do on these videos is because I'm me and I'm picky and I'm a little bit overly cautious. So I'm gonna take a little bit of Right Stuff from Permatex. It's just a high grade sealant, and just put a tiny, 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 tiny little skim coat around this just to make sure that this seals and I'm not getting any moisture or anything in through there as this thing is running over the next several years. So I'm gonna grab that, put that tiny little skim coat on, slap this in here, put this thing back in the box. I believe I have to use these black longer screws to clear all of this and get enough engagement into our box. Let's check the depth on one of these silver boys. Yeah, that ain't gonna be enough. So got all our screws. These, I believe, are also just a T25. Where did that go? So these are indeed a T25 with a much better fit than the stock screws. The stock screws, your T25 has quite a bit of wobble in it. I tried a 27 and the 27 does not fit. So they're just, the factory ones are a very loose fit on your T25, whereas the supplied ones Much, much better. Get this, trash, get some right stuff, do that, back in the sled we go. Again, we are doing this really, really light. We don't want this to spread out, cover our screen at all. Just a little droplet, give it the spread. And this is also me just being me and being super picky. These are two machine surfaces. I don't think there's gonna be anything coming through realistically, but I just have an issue where I have to do things like this because of who I am. Tony's gonna see this and go, brother, you don't be needing to do that. And I'm gonna go, ah, I am who I am, you know? All right, I don't know how to undo this new fancy lid. Can I just turn it? Ooh, look at that, there we go. And then, hopefully they finally figured out a good top that's like reusable, because in the past, that's been the downfall of the right stuff, is the lid and sealing system's been trash, right? So we'll take this, make sure our logo is going the right way so that doesn't piss my brain off either. A little stick action. Cool, let's get over to the sled. All right, gasket, valve, froggy boy. Pull this hose out. Fish this into here. The hole's lined up. Look at this. You ain't gonna get much better than that. Whoa, 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 whoa. And then I will tighten all these by hand. I have no idea for a torque spec on this for you. Tight is tight, too tight, stripped box. So unfortunately, you're on your own there. But if you are to the point of tackling this on your own, you probably have a pretty good handle on how tight to go ahead and snug these things up to. Yeah, you feel them snug right up. No shape, that's not a problem at all. Just doing kind of a sort of crisscrossy type pattern here. That was the ratchet, not the box, not to worry. I have my finger on the flipper. Recheck them for a little bit of gasket squish. Ratchet again, all right, cool. Justin, you're gonna be getting this ratchet, buddy. So that's it. You got your TRS PowerFlow valve installed. All that's left, reassemble all this mess. Pretty straightforward. You took it apart. You should be able to put it back together. Yeah, I'm probably gonna time lapse the reassembly of this and just kind of slam everything back together. If you need to look at something specific, probably take pictures along the way. Hopefully you did that. If not, go back, watch how we took it apart, and that'll show you how to put it back together. So that's that.